Hi everyone, and welcome on our podcast, Sister Lines. I'm Laura,
And I'm Julie.
and today's episode is going to be about a book, a very special book for us, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's basically like a spiritual self-help book, and we have both read it, so we are going to share our thoughts and how we experienced this book. And yeah, also, if you haven't checked out our previous video on our channel, make sure to do that to get to know us. So let's just say for me, this book was a spiritual slap in the face. If you are someone who overthinks, spirals, or lives 99% of the time in the future or in the past, this video is for you. It was a part of me that I had abandoned. It was like the child that lived in the present moment by default.
A view that I had not heard before about the state of the world.
It's a feeling, like I cannot even describe it because it's a feeling, you have to feel it. I could be whoever the fuck I wanted to be. The voice that tells you you're not good enough or you have to make something of yourself to have value. The ego never lets you time to breathe. It doesn't want to go away. I hate the ego. Fuck this bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
It's never about who you are right now and accepting the state and the circumstance and the emotions and feelings you have right now.
Yes.
This ego-driven mind will seek for validation. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to experience joy, but you're going to find peace.
Just quickly, we're going to explain what the book is actually about. So if you haven't read it, you can totally watch this video. It's totally fine. I'm just going to give a little resume. You want to start?
Yeah. So basically, this book is about the end of human suffering.
Basically.
And why and how we should reach spiritual enlightenment. So, common themes are suffering, ego or mind identification, as we will explain later, the pain body, concepts of past, present, and future, and how we relate to them, such as the cognitive thinking brain, what it is to be in a state of being, in the bodily experience of being. And if any of this vocabulary confuses you, it's normal. It's because it's very specific vocabulary. And actually, the author talks about using all these terms loosely. So they're not definite concepts. They're there to point in a certain direction.
For me, what I understood is that it basically just says live in the present moment, because he says something, there's a quote I love, is realize deeply that the present moment is all you'll ever have. So you don't have tomorrow, you don't have yesterday, you have now. You just have today. And he basically says that like past and future are illusions and that they don't really exist. Like you're the only one to exist right now. So I think that's a really powerful message. And it also shows how most of us are kind of trapped in our minds and that we're kind of slaves to our thoughts. I found that very interesting.
As well, I thought it was interesting that throughout the book, Eckhart Tolle brings in various religions, such as Christianity, and he tries to offer different interpretations of a lot of Christian texts. So it's a very faith-oriented book. It is deeply spiritual. So was there anything confusing about the book?
Not confusing, but for me, I thought it was weird that he constantly said that we are not our thoughts, because I'm like, if I'm not my thoughts, who am I? So this really made me question my identity. Yeah, I had a hard time like letting go of the idea that I'm not like I am my thoughts. It's really hard for me because we have been raised to thinking that thinking equals control. When I live in the present moment, I feel like I'm out of control, and that really scares me. These are patterns that you grew up with and that you have to unlearn to discover who you are truly. And for me, chaos and like noise was super familiar. The moment I stepped into stillness and slowness, and it felt so unfamiliar and weird. And for me, silence meant danger. So at first I was very reluctant
Yeah.
to let myself go and let go of the idea that I'm not my thoughts. It was hard. It was not confusing. It was hard for me to accept. It was hard for me to really realize that deeply. Like, girl, even if you think you are your thoughts, you actually are not, you know? Because I based my whole identity on that. So who am I? Like,
the book is written very plain and simply, so I highly encourage you to read it. Eckhart Tolle is German, and we actually have the German version of the book. It's very straightforward. It's not hard to understand, and it's purposeful because Eckhart Tolle emphasizes how the words that he uses a specific vocabulary, whilst we would be acquainted with them from before. For example, words such as ego or presence or consciousness. These are all spiritual words we've heard before, yet we come in with preconceived notions of them. And what he tries to do within this book is really write as plainly as possible. And he explains, don't attach the words because they're only indicators to point you in a certain direction. You're not supposed to come here with a baggage of understanding of what this word or concept means. And that was really confusing and hard for me. Because I'm a person who intellectualizes a lot and who thinks as well, overthinking. That's the whole point, that you will look at something and your thinking brain just turns on and it's automatic and the thoughts come in and they flow in and they highly inform your experience. I really struggled, the same as my sister, to get away from this thinking process and to really just feel the words that he was saying and try to feel the direction in which it pushes you. I thought that this book was the biggest exercise to get out of my head.
That's really interesting because I feel like so many people will say it's a hard book. But I feel like it's a hard book to feel and not really understand. Like, you can understand it with your mind, but it's harder to feel the book and to understand it on a deeper level. Because I feel like she intellectualizes a lot, and like you said, you're come with your preconceived notions of everything. So, you're trying to understand it in a strategic or mathematical way, even, you know what I mean, and not in a emotional, oh, these words make me feel a certain way, you know. It's hard to fully get the message. It's hard to fully live it. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when it's hard.
The first time I tried reading it, I was 18, and actually I was very spiritual. I was very involved in spiritual practices because I started meditating a lot. And even so, when I started reading the book, I had no attraction to the book. Like, I did not feel like I wanted to read the book. It was like, oh, this is a spiritual book. A lot of people have said great things. This is a staple book within spirituality. I should read it. And therefore, I kind of forced myself to read through it. And at first I thought it was so plain. I thought there was no essence. I really struggled to I thought it was a watered down kind of spiritual book. I was like, I don't understand. What are you trying to say?
So I got it from a friend for my birthday because she knew I was into that spiritual shit. I think I was like, it was 3 years ago. Also, guys, if I'm a bit rusty on like remembering stuff, it's been 3 years. I've read it 3 years ago. So I got it for my birthday. I picked it up. I didn't understand shit. I understood the words, but I didn't. I was like, this is so boring. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't. Yeah, and you don't feel anything. No. You're just like, okay,
you don't.
This. So I was like, fuck this shit. I hate that book. And then 3 months later, I picked it up again, and it was so different.
And that's what makes this book so interesting. Yeah. I think. Whilst it can be a bit controversial and we're going to talk about this as well, in the spiritual self-improvement, always better, that's what the book looks like on the surface. Yeah. And I completely see that because I've gone through that. Yeah. And I was like, what is this self-help kind of shit here? I'm always trying to seek, like, you know, improvement, human 2.0, you know. Like,
I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be so enlightened. I'm not gonna be recognizable.
When you have that approach, or if you still think like that or approach this book like that, you're not there yet. I really didn't think there was going to be a shift, and there was a shift. Yeah. And now I'm like, none of any other piece of literature or text made me feel this way. So I thought it was very intriguing.
Yeah. I was going through shit, and it was more like, oh, I'm seeing the end of the tunnel way. So I want to improve myself and get to know myself. And I even like felt enormous resistance because it was literally exposing everything from what I was running from. After chapter 2, I think, I started bawling my eyes out. Like literally, I was like, why do I feel like this? And I didn't even know why. It's not a sad book, but when you start feeling it, you're like, damn. I felt like a wave of comfort and like validation that it told me you're not broken for feeling this way, and there's an explanation and there's a way.
For both of us, this book found us the second we were ready to read it. It both found us in a very
Low
low
states.
place,
Yeah.
like very close to despair, guys. Very close, and that's again, this is a safe space.
It is a safe space, guys.
We're embracing all the spectrum of human emotion. Yeah, in that state, you're really just, it's great to live there, you know? It's great existence.
Such a good experience.
Spiritual books are looked down on, I think, because they're like, okay, self-improvement, you're trying, you're pretentious reading this, you're trying to be someone better, blah, blah, blah. I see it. I can see it. But I think I started reading it. I was at the point where, look, it's so bad right now that I'm not losing anything reading this, because I was so hopeless for a cure to what I was dealing. I was so hopeless to like breathe again, that I just picked it up and I was like, okay, listen, if I'm gonna have the same experience of self-improvement, forcing myself, this is gonna be it. But I was already in a space of so much pain that with or without it, it wouldn't have made a difference. Like I had nothing to lose, basically. I just felt like exposing a festering wound inside you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you have that experience, the fact that this book allows you to feel and allows to shine attention on that is pretty insane.
Oh yeah, I think it's so incredible. Like the second time I read it, it was like it was something I've never experienced before. It was one of my wake up calls actually, and it actually felt like I was coming home. Aww. It's so crazy to say that. It felt like for me, like if I had to explain it physically, I felt it in my chest, like an enormous like wave of warmth embracing my chest and telling me this is how you should live your life. This is how it should be. This is how it should feel like. And felt like home. It's so crazy to say, but it actually felt so comforting. And I felt like the book saw a version of myself that I was hiding or that I had to create. It was a part of me that I had abandoned. It was like the child that lived in the present moment by default. And that's so interesting because I feel like I during the while I was reading this book, I was trying to remember when is the last time I actually felt alive. And for me, the most time where I was alive was when I was a child. So I feel like everyone, when you're a child, by default, you're in the present because you're just playing around. You're not thinking about your problems. You're not thinking about the future. You're not thinking about your value or if your outfit is cool. If you're being trendy. So, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? How do people see me? Like you didn't give a fuck as a child? And that was crazy to me, this realization of the last time I actually felt present was when I was a fucking child. When I was reading that book, I was in full presence and I felt like I was like a child again.
But with this childlike state that you said, I think as children we're insouciant, worryless, unburdened,
unbothered, unbothered queens.
Unbothered, insouciant, yeah, and not worried and naive, but in a really pure and good way. And yeah, so I think children totally by default live in the present moment because well, at least our childhood was like this. I think
totally.
Now children have like social media and distractions, but we used to have like still distractions, but not in the form of social media.
Yeah.
And then on what Laura touched upon of like this is how we should live. What is really important is that in my phases where I felt quite low, I was seeking for truth. I felt like I was being deceived by everything and everyone all the time, and I was being let down by everyone and everything all the time. And I was so disappointed in the state of the world, whether it be in politics, whether it be in close friendships, whether it be in family, whether it be in myself, whether it be in romance, whatever uh, aspect, that it just all came together, and I was so disappointed about life, and I lost hope and I lost the spark, if you will say. And I felt like I was lied to. The more I grow up, unfortunately, the more this inner beauty and inner knowing that everything's inherently good got chipped at bit by bit. And you start to become very cynical about the world, and pessimistic about things going on around you. So I came to a point where, when I just fell from my ego trip, let's say, this book was the only thing where I thought, I can feel truth in this. And not only can I feel truth, the way that it's bringing concepts in and bringing this idea, this spirituality in, is not in a dogmatic or normative way. So it's not a book that says, that prescribes a way of living. You should do X, Y, and Z. You should live your life like this is what it. Eckhart Tolle does talk about humanity and the well-being of humanity, and kind of this idea of collective consciousness, and we should all, as a human race, become conscious, because that is the only way to save this world. And he refers to crises, inequalities, wars, genocides, everything that is inherently bad. And now he says that the solution to that is kind of a collective consciousness to rise to a certain degree. I found it cool that a book offered an interpretation or a view that I had not heard before about the state of the world, about why the world is so destructive, why people are so evil, and why we repress and destroy so many communities. This book was like, look, this is one view. It's an invitation, and it felt to me, in that state, it felt like an olive branch. It felt like a, look, this is a path, you can take it. So this is me kind of describing how I experienced the book, but
Yeah.
Laura, how do you?
So for me, it was kind of similar to you. Also, I feel like I was much younger, but I feel like age for this book doesn't really have a, like, you don't have to be a certain age to
No,
understand that book.
it really does
Not
not.
at all. And it's a proof that even at 17 you can understand it. It depends where you are in your life and at what stages. And it's really a feeling. And it took me approximately 2 months to read this book, because I really had to put it down, take a breath, ponder, process. It felt like I was being told the truth, like revealing something kind of, but I felt that it was the truth, and not like lies or semi truths.
Again, it's like, it's a feeling.
It's a feeling. Like, I cannot even describe it, because it's a feeling. You have to feel it.
But so that's why I feel like, with this whole pretentious argument of the book, I get it. Intellectually, I get it, but it's okay if you have a different experience of the book, and if you don't feel what we're describing, that's okay too, and that's totally fine and valid too.
It really reminded me that being is enough. I don't know, I was kind of breathing again, but in a different way. I don't know if that makes sense. That I could be whoever the fuck I wanted to be, and I could be my true, authentic self if I wanted to. So that was really empowering to feel that. Yeah, it was basically not being a slave to the ego. And I feel like I've also had these preconceived ideas of what the ego is. For me, it was like arrogance. It's really important to define it how I understood it through the book, because how I understood it after reading it, it's that it's a false identity. It's like the voice that tells you you're not good enough, or you have to make something of yourself to have value, or I need to be seen in a certain way. Ego is really built on identity and what you associate identity with, and it feeds on that. It also feeds on comparison. I feel like I've compared myself a lot in the past, especially with what we see on social media and everything. It's really poison. Validation is a big thing for the ego, and I realized that through the book. And it absolutely fears to death rejection. Rejection is a big thing, and I've experienced that. I feel like you've also experienced that, that when you're rejected, you get this big hit in the ego. The ego never lets you time to breathe. It doesn't want to go away. It's never content. It's like it's pushing the finish line like further and further away, even when you get near it, and it never lets you cross it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking hate the ego. Fuck this bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch.
Well, I'm just gonna maybe just a tiny little recap of what Eckhart Tolle says so that you're fully on board with the notions and concepts we're saying right now. So basically, he says there's such a thing as being conscious, there's such a thing as being unconscious. There's past, present, and future. When you live within mind identification or the ego, you will be in a state where you will relate your identity or who you are to past situations, things that have happened to you, relationships you've had, traumas, not traumas, whatever, and future goals, where you want to be, where you want to get. And it's never about who you are right now and accepting the state and the circumstance and the emotions and the feelings you have right now.
Yeah.
So that's being unconscious. And when you're unconscious, this ego driven mind will seek for validation. It feeds off of validation, it feeds off of bad things, comparison, being, I don't know, like it cares about superficial things. It cares about how it looks,
how you're seen, what people think of you.
It cares about how perfect, how fulfilled you are, but on a scale that's extremely external. And it's very broken off of how you're feeling inside. So it's a very, if you can imagine, I imagine it as an external operating network of labels and of pillars of success you can achieve in order, like, if I get this job, if I get this relationship, if I get this house, if I get this car, if I get, then I will be full and complete. Then I will not feel shame anymore. Then I will feel joy. Then I will be happy. Like it's this striving, right? And so that's the ego mind identification. It's this thing of seeing yourself with things that has value. When consciousness is the opposite of that, consciousness is being in the present moment, accepting where you're at. And what is really interesting about this is even if you're in a really, really tough space, you're not in safety, you have something physical harming you, a really bad abusive situation, whatever it is, what I found most profound is he says you can free yourself from that. You're not going to be happy, you're not going to experience joy, but you're going to find peace within the chaos, within the worst scenarios possible. You can accept what is happening to you and you can forgive. And to me, that was like,
damn.
Wow, humans are capable of this. And if you don't feel it, it's just words. And you will feel resistance to what he's saying. And it's difficult. It's not easy, okay? It's not something, and he says in the book himself that a small amount of people are enlightened or get to that stage. And some people live their whole lives and will never feel true state of being or joy. So in that sense, that's very pessimistic, and it does sound pretentious. Like it's this like super easy described thing, yet it's so unreachable for the norm and for the masses. But I think this is not how it should be read. It's hard because it does feel when someone is in such despair. I also felt at times that it's dangling like a little piece of hope in front of my nose, and I was too stupid to grasp and to get it. So I've had my likes and hates with this book, but I do understand that at least for me, the higher experience of this is the olive branch and basically saying, look, this is a view of the world and a view of human suffering, and it's very, very positive.
Well, I'm happy to say that totally resonated with me, and it actually like it was dangling in front of my face too, but I snatched that thing up. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, and it worked for
Also,
me.
maybe we're just gonna preface what state you're in and what state I am
Oh
because
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that can help.
yeah.
But Laura is like mega flourishing. She moved out of the house. She's in university.
Yeah.
She's found lots of friends. And I'm so excited for her because I've seen her in really dark, low states.
Yeah, I've been through hell basically. But from a very young age I started experiencing different stuff like depression, anxiety, social anxiety, the I feel like the universal kind of experience. um Dealing with trauma, deconstructing trauma, getting to know yourself. So I've been through a very difficult path, and this book came towards the end of my suffering, I might say. So I'm in a very, very, very good place now to talk about the book. That's why I'm so like optimistic about it. Like this book is amazing, because I actually feel like it, and it actually helped me a lot. And for me personally, it literally it was eye opening to how I should live my life, and it worked for me, and it still works for me, and I'm still struggling, of course, but like with some moments to be in the present because like things follow you for a long time. But yeah, I'm happy to say that this book really helped me a lot.
So I'm coming from a side where I'm struggling a bit right now.
Yeah.
I'm in a tough spot.
Yeah.
So, and everything, again, what I love about spirituality is this whole idea of everything is fleeting because it's a fact. And again, I like when whatever spiritual faith, religion you have, it's so cool when they don't lie to you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we live in a world where ads, movies, stereotypes, people, companies, everything lie to you constantly and are very deceiving. I feel like this is my, again, I'm in a phase, guys. If I'm very pessimistic, this is just my phase right now.
But it's good that we have 2 point of views.
Yeah.
Kind of,
So with this book, like I'm not yet at the point where I can say, oh, I get the warm feeling inside and I there's a golden light shining within me and every person who I will touch and when I enter a room there's like instant.
Okay, now that is judgment. You're judging me, bitch.
Actually, I see how my sister behaves and operates, not because of this book, obviously, but like in the whole journey, and it's just inspiring. It's so inspiring, and that's why I feel like even within my darkest little pit of hell, I have a bit of a ray of light, which my sister shows
Which is
to me.
me.
And I've been with her through that shit when I was fine ish. But now I'm in a bit of a tough spot. But everything is fleeting and impermanent, and we're all gonna die anyway. So
Okay, guys, so we're gonna split this video in two because we realized that this generation has the attention span of a fish. So goldfish. So we're gonna split this video in 2 parts. So this is the end of the first part. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you want to know more, which you do, go check out the second part. It's really important. We are saying a lot of interesting, smart stuff. Thank you.